Hey guys, Jason here for TheChartGuys, taking a look at Tesla. Yesterday's video was all about this bear descending scallop pattern, and we said we needed to maintain higher lows over 231.70. So we managed to do that. Our new higher low currently 236.65, so we'll be keeping tabs on that one. And we haven't seen any signs that this bearish pattern is going to be executing quite yet. And I'm very close to considering it to be negated, because even if it does start to move to the downside now, we've established multiple hourly levels of support that we can come back to, and maybe in a couple of good 4-hour support levels. We'll see how that goes. Ultimately, we are looking good. We would expect to see this trend continue until it doesn't, and we'll be watching for that. Support 236.65, as I stated. Next support 231.70. Looks like bulls are currently in control and pretty happy about things. Also going to recommend watching out for a potential head and shoulders pattern here, which is looking something like this, but ultimately it's just a high under 246.68 coming back down and breaking a level of support that we've seen established right over here around, what is that, 241.22, something like that, 240.62, this area of support. If we lose that and we see an execution and loss of 236.65, then those old levels come into play. But on the daily time frame, things are looking okay for the bulls right now. Hourly trend moving nicely to the upside, EMA 12 acting as resistance right now, and it looks like I lost my EMA 26 somewhere along the line. We'll have to add that back into the chart. But things looking okay so far for the bulls. Let's see how long they can keep this up. And I appreciate you watching. We'll check in tomorrow. Hopefully something more interesting has happened, or at least a teachable lesson that we can break down the dynamics of. Thank you for watching. Hey guys, Jason here for TheChartGuys, taking a look at Netflix. I think this one's going to be pretty quick. We are developing a nice hourly and 4-hour downtrend, and we're going to be keeping close tabs on that. A lot of volatility today, but ultimately we're seeing resistance at EMA 12 consistently, 1, 2, 3 days of that now, and we're seeing a long upper and lower wick, but ultimately we are seeing a lower low on the daily time frame. So the 4-hour time frame, that's what we're looking for. This is a developing nice downside channel here, not quite intact enough to use, but we're seeing that area, that zone of resistance support that's pushing us downwards. And if we go to the hourly time frame, it looks a little bit more clear for us how we are setting these lower highs and ultimately these lower lows. That's what it's all about. So for bulls to turn things around, they need to hold 13.1853. That's going to be a key level and a possible area of support for tomorrow. We'll be looking to the 5-minute time frame for trend changes around that level and hopefully see them carry through. And then bulls need to get over 331.77 for upside continuation. So that is going to be our key resistance. Otherwise, we're just going to be lockstep inside this little channel, and I'm going to give it a shot here. I'm going to try and draw out something that contains most of our price action, and it would look something like that. And I'm really fuzzy on this resistance because, we're only touching one line, and I'm going to go mark that like so I don't forget that I'm not confident in it. But we are seeing multiple areas of resistance here, so that's the key thing to watch. Look for trend changes around areas of support. See if you have legs. Do you get good follow through? Is there good volume? Are you over your EMAs on your hourly and 4-hour time frames? And then importantly, are you getting over this area of resistance that you've seen act as a trend line over and over and over again? If you get all of those things in conjunction, you're likely going to look for a daily trend change and see if you can't turn this daily trend back into something that's a little bit more favorable for the bulls. But ultimately right now we're just seeing downtrend, and we will look to the hourly trend for continuation or trend change, and we'll follow up tomorrow. Hello friends, Jason here for TheChartGuys, taking a look at Apple. Wild day post earnings, good earnings report. We saw massive moves after hours, and we gave a lot back today, a lot of profit opportunity, and it's just really showing the draw of this daily channel that we have been inside. We tried to get out of, but we've closed back inside on good volume. So two things are going to be happening here. We're going to be using the price action that we've seen today at a couple key historical levels, but ultimately we're all going to be sticking with this daily channel to see if it keeps on offering us support. And we'll abandon it when we see this no longer valid, but until then, we're going to keep it on the chart there. So daily support levels, we will go ahead and mark those out. 211.30 is our support on the daily, and we have 221.37. We also see daily support at the low down here if we get there around 206.73. So that's an important range to watch. And right now, I'm just going to say that momentum is not going to be going skyrocketing upwards. Maybe it will tomorrow. I don't know. But right now, I'm seeing a lot of profit taking, which suggests to me, at the very least, we're going to see some sideways movement before the bulls and bears trying to figure out this story. So let's jump to the hourly time frame. There's that massive move after hours. We saw early morning action. There's that high flush. We see that loss, we see that low, and now we're consolidating, possibly looking at an hourly trend change, but we need to keep tabs on that trend line support. Let's go get some more data so it fleshes out a little bit better and more effectively here, but there's that action. So it's just going to be watching this range of support tomorrow, see what happens as we open inside that daily range, watch for those support levels. And I wish I had more to tell you about what to look for, but after a big day like that in volatility, I step back and I let these trends develop, and I prefer to play in situations where we have these nice daily trends. They guide you and they tell you what to do, and they tell you when you're at a low what the most likely outcome is going to be. When you get into these wild areas of volatility with high volume and uncertainty, it's a hands-off trade for me. But I'll be watching to 1130 for a support. Should we open in that range tomorrow? Should we open below it? I'm going to be looking for my trend line support or 206.73. If we somehow manage to find ourselves moving back to the upside, I will look for trendline resistance and 221.37 to act as a guide, and I will see how we play out our price action in response to those key levels should we get there. That's it today. Good luck to you trading Apple. If you're in it right now, we're in for a bit of a ride, I think, until things stabilize. Hey guys, Jason here for TheChartGuys, taking a look at Amazon. Yesterday we were all about 1884 as a key level for us, and watching this hourly EQ develop between 1917 and that 1883. So we saw that developing. We saw a jump over EMA 12 in pre-market. We saw a lower high 1915, which was a signal that things were going to be continuing in this EQ. But the big change was going to be the loss of 1883. We saw this drawdown here. We saw area of double bottom support, a little bit of a bounce, rejection from the hourly EMA 12, and then as soon as we lost 1884, we just saw a big dump to the downside, and that is a key thing to be watching. This 1884 level, of course, coming from way back here, acting as an area of support, and we saw this break by 50 cents, but ultimately hold. So it continues to act as an area of support, like a zone of support is something I'll say often. You don't want to be watching decimal points and exact dollar figures. You want to be watching areas of support. And we'll get into the 5-minute time frame on this one to see what's going on there. But good short opportunity. And right now it just looks like continuation, lower highs, lower lows, and that will continue until we get a trend change. Bulls need to hold 1849.44 for a potential trend change and maintaining higher lows. And then again, move to the upside and try to get a break over 1915.03. Until that happens, we're just going to be looking for downside continuation in this developing hourly trend. Well, let's go to the 5-minute time frame, see if we can get a better idea of what happened in today's action. And here we go. We come down, we see that 5-minute boring action ultimately, like not a lot happening here. We see area of support, we get a bounce. We lose that higher low again. We see weakness. We get another bounce. And then ultimately, the volume starts to pour in when we break conclusively that 1884 and get a major move to the downside. So if you were just watching for the major break, loss of 1882 would have been your signal. Big bar, 2-minute EQ possibly here, and then a move to the downside. Oversold bounce likely. There you go. 5-minute oversold bounce. And then we're seeing continuation. So good key levels to be watching, good short opportunities, but Amazon's all about this hourly downtrend that we are seeing, and we will look for continuation until we get trend change. And if we get that, we'll highlight it in the next video. And good luck to you tomorrow.